everyone. We are back with another episode of Lunch and Learn, and I'm Brittany.
And I'm Alex.
And we're back sharing our lunches and some of your favorite questions. Alex, what do you have for lunch?
I have a tuna salad, but I'm cutting, so that means I don't have a lot of fat. And what's in here is just tuna and mustard and some seasonings, and it still tastes amazing. And then I got a side of cucumbers right here, pretty easy, and some rice cakes. You know what? It's the week after Christmas. Nobody did any meal prepping, neither did I, and so this is what I got going on. What about you?
Very nice. There's a lot of cucumbers in that bowl.
Hey,
a lot.
Volume. Again, I'm cutting. I need the volume.
Holy moly. I have a bowl with some brown rice, lots of vegetables. We have got some mushrooms, some broccoli, some zucchini, and your favorite carrots with some sauteed shrimp and some cut up sirloin, all mashed up in here together. And nice little filling lunch ready to go here to share some knowledge. And just like we promised everyone last week, we are going to talk all about meal plans, meal planning, and structured meal plans. We're going to dive into it. So let's get to it.
Let's do it.
One of our questions that we had was all about how do we structure meal plans? I think a lot of you know, the 3 dietitians here on staff, Alex, myself, and Taylor, the other dietitian here on staff, we write meal plans for bulk sales and then also for our members. So the question was, how do we do it? How do we structure our meal plans when we start to write them? So Alex, take it away.
That's a great question. And so what I do when I start writing meal plans is I look at the total calories that I'm working with. Am I working with a calorie level that's like in the 2,600 range or in the 1,600 range? And then I personally like to split the calories across the meals evenly. So that way you're not having like a super heavy breakfast or super heavy dinner. You have an even flow of energy throughout the day. So then I split the calories across the meals or the macros across the meals. And then what I do is I like to plan for protein first. Protein seems to be the hardest one. So if I can just get those out of the way and figure out what kind of fat grams I'm working with after I've inputted different proteins. And then that also helps me build meals with. Like usually if I think about chicken, I can kind of create some kind of meal idea with that. And then I'll add in some different starchy carbs, whether that's rice or pasta or oatmeal if it's like for breakfast. And then I'll throw in a little bit of veggies, a little bit of fruit. And then sometimes I'll have some fat left over depending on the calorie level. And then that's where I sprinkle in some fat. So I always go protein, carbs, veggies, fats. And that way I'm never trying to fit something, like say I pick a granola as my base as opposed to like the protein that I'm trying to work backwards and fit in that protein. It doesn't necessarily work. I always find I can put in the proteins and then sprinkle in everything else and things fit a little bit easier and it's less of a headache when I'm building meal plans. What about you? Do you do something different than I do or is it pretty similar?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much exactly how I do it. I think when you're meal planning for structured meal plans, it's almost opposite of how you would plan for like a special occasion, right? That is the opposite of, say, if you have like a celebratory meal, if you're going to have birthday cake and you really want to plan that in, you would plan that birthday cake first because that's going to take up a lot of your fat and carbs for the day. So you would plan that first if that's something you really want to work into your day. And then you would then plan everything else around it. Where when I'm doing structured meal plans for someone or for like a stock meal plan, I'm going to plan the easy stuff, which is the protein first, and then whatever is left over for carbs and fat will come in at the end. So yeah, that's exactly how I do it.
Yeah, pretty simple, and it tends to work out 10 out of 10 times.
Yep.
Okay, so now I want to know, do we actually write these meal plans or do we use AI? Come on, tell me the truth.
Yeah. Oh boy. We, believe it or not, everyone, are actually writing these meal plans. And this is, I think, something that absolutely separates us from others. We are writing these things. The ones that are put out for bulk meal plans that are sold, we write them. And we also, I think, as a lot of you may know, we sell meal plans for our members. Those absolutely are written for the members because they take into consideration member preferences. And so we take that, and there's a few day turnaround time because we are writing them. We do use the help of meal tracking, like either Macros First or Chirometer or whatever meal tracking app that we prefer to use as the RD. Like, so we use that as a little bit of help, but there is no AI involved at all. We are absolutely writing these by hand. Some might argue that there's a faster way to do it, but there's certainly not a better way to do it.
No, I completely agree. I'm using my brain power to write these meal plans every single time I sit down to do one. I've actually played around with AI and just to see what pops up or what it spits out. And honestly, I don't like half the meals. They are way too complex or just so far fetched. And I'm like, this is not even realistic or sustainable. So, and it wouldn't work for my any of my members or clients or whoever I'm writing a meal plan with. So yeah, we write them. These are
Yeah.
out of our brains.
Yeah, the macros are never correct either. Like whenever we've played around with it, it's always the protein is way too low, the fat is far too high. Like it never works out, and it's always these really bizarre recipes that they end
Oh,
up spitting out. Yeah,
yeah, I
it's
agree.
weird.
And you make a good point there where there's something about actually understanding like the breakdown in the macros per like for the meal, like where you just said the protein's too low or the fat's too high. Like some of the members don't necessarily need that. And just getting a generic meal plan will just give you, it's not very personalized to you, which I think that brings me to my next question, Brittany, for you is what is the difference between the WAG meal plans, the ones that we have for stock where you can just buy, and the plans that you write for your members?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's a considerable difference actually. So they're all written by the registered dietitians. Those of you guys who watched our episode last week, you know the difference between a registered dietitian or the differences between a registered dietitian and a nutrition coach or a nutritionist. So we write the meal plans for our members as they purchase them or as part of a Nutrition Coaching Plus plan. Those meal plans, we are talking to our members and saying, hey, what are your preferences? Do you like chicken? Do you like this vegetable, that vegetable? How many meals do you eat in a day? What are there any WAG recipes that you want to add in? Do you like this particular protein bar? Those are very specific to each client. If Sally Jones, really wants this recipe, we're going to put it in her plan for her. Those are individually designed for each client. The ones that you can purchase on our website, they have a month's worth of meals that you can plug and play. There are breakfast meals, lunch meals, dinner meals, and snacks that are all similar in protein, carbs, and fats that you then just plug and play into a menu. And those are really cool because anyone can use them, and you just plug and play however you want and design your month, really, which is pretty cool. They're much more generic in the sense that we wrote them, like Alex and I wrote them for a broad range of people. So you might find several meals on there that you're like, oh, I don't want anything to do with that. But, there's going to be hundreds of other meals on there that you might like.
Yeah. That's you said it beautifully. I tend to get a lot of requests when I make an individual meal plan. Some will say, "Hey, can you fit in a glass of wine?" or "Show me how to do that." Can you make sure to include some chocolate? Or I really love Mexican flavored dishes. Can you make sure to add a good presence of those? And that is what makes a difference between just buying a meal plan that is for the masses versus one that you're getting for yourself. Is that the one that you're getting for yourself looks a little bit more realistic. It's including that wine that you really wanted or that chocolate craving that you have. And then you're able to see how you can utilize that or how those things can fit into your day and still reach your goals. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with our meal plans, it's, we want it just to open your eyes a little bit as like, oh, this is what this could look like for you. Yeah. So this a perfect lead into, I think we have time for one more question. How can these meal plans, whether it is an individually designed meal plan or the stock meal plans, how can it help someone who already has a pretty good handle on their nutrition? I think it's pretty obvious for a lot of people how meal plans could help if they're a beginner. But what if someone who's pretty advanced in nutrition? Like how could one of these meal plans help them?
Great question. So raise your hand if you've ever been in a food rut. Okay, I have. And so getting someone else to provide you with some meal ideas would be a great way to get out of that food rut. A lot of times we just think of the same meals over and over again. We're on rotation, eating tacos on Tuesday, spaghetti on Wednesday, takeout for Thursday, that type of thing. But when you get a full week, if it's an individual program, or individual meal plan, or you buy one of the stock ones, you now have a variety of meal ideas that you might not have thought about yourself. So that's one way. Another way that I have created meal plans for people, I've had requests where, hey, I'm about to go into a really busy season of work and I want super easy meals. Can you try to include as many Costco foods as you possibly can? And I'm like, yes, say less. And then I build all these easy meals that you can just grab foods from Costco that are either prepared, already prepared, or you might have to just do very minimal preparation. And now you have a full week of meal ideas that you can hit repeat that are very specific for that occasion. So there's just, those are just two examples of ways that I have created meal plans for people that do have a handle on macros. Do you have any other things that you've done?
Yeah, I think that's a great example. It's just outsourcing it. It's the same as, like coaches needing a coach, dietitian needing a coach. It's just outsourcing something to someone and getting a second look on your nutrition and letting someone come in and say, hi, have you thought about this? Have you thought about incorporating this food into your plan? And just having someone take your numbers and plugging foods into your numbers and saying, this is what your nutrition could look like. Give this a try. And it's a really useful tool. And it's a wonderful thing that we've added to our line of services here at WAG. And I think it's something that can benefit everyone. It's certainly not meant to overhaul your nutrition and for you to eat these foods on repeat forever, because we are here to teach you how to eat better and different and to take control over your nutrition. But it is certainly helpful when times get tough and you need something to fall back on. So, yeah.
I think that covers all of our questions for the meal plans, at least for right now. Do you have any last final remarks?
I don't think so. I think that's it. I think, if you have any questions about meal plans, you can check out all the details on our website, or you can always shoot us an email at info@workingagainstgravity.com or drop a question here in the comments. We're happy to answer any questions you have, and we'll be back with another Lunch and Learn here soon.
All right. Well, this was awesome and can't wait until the next one.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hey, everyone. If you liked what you saw, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to our channel to get more content on nutrition, health, and wellness. Thank you for watching.